morning. Today is the 25th of May. It's time for yet another very vague, not particularly interesting, and probably quite boring vlog. I've just been to have the air conditioning recharged on the 45 V6. It stopped working a couple of months back, I think, actually, although I hadn't really needed it very much over the winter period. And I've been back to the same company who did it for me originally when I bought the car in 2020, a company called LC Diagnostics in Southampton, who were very good, and they only charged me £60 including VAT, which I gather these days for having air conditioning done is actually very reasonable. So what I've been considering over the last few weeks, now that we actually have all four of the cars together back in the collection, is how many is too many, and a bit why this, how many is too many cars in one collection, and can you really keep adequate track of them if you have absolutely loads? Now, the person who used to be notorious for this was Mr. Ian Seabrook from the Hubnut channel. The thing is, Ian Seabrook's not really in a habit so much of sort of acquiring additional cars for the fleet. I know he had the Citroen Picasso quite recently in a Peugeot 106, but they've always been only temporary and they've gone. Mr. Richardson of Furious Driving's probably not the best example for it, though. He has an awful lot of cars, and he seems to not be able to say no particularly well to them. I think his lady wife must find the situation rather frustrating. I'm sure his son finds it interesting, though. I also am very blessed to often be invited to film cars in quite large collections. Arthur, who you would have seen, who lives in Yorkshire, who had the Vauxhall Monaro, Peugeot 405, Peugeot 406, and the Lexus IS 250. You would have seen on the channel earlier this month of the date of recording. That's not all his collection. He has some other cars in the collection as well, and one or two of them I am hoping to film. They weren't actually ready for filming at the time that we actually went up there to do it. So I've always been wondering about this sometimes, where people just have these big collections and they can't say no. How do you mentally remember how to do things? With possibly a family, possibly a very busy job, or both. How do you kind of keep these things going? Mr. Bushby, whose Fiat you would have seen on the channel last autumn, again is somebody who has quite a collection of them, and he's actually starting to slim the collection down a bit. He's actually got rid of one of the cars. I think really, from my point of view, we started the channel in 2018 with two cars. One was sort of mine and one was my lady wife's, and up until October 2022, we only ever just had that many, apart from temporarily. And now we've got permanently the sort of extra car, which is the Volvo. It's very strange just having that many and thinking about where to park all of them sometimes. At the moment, we have one of them that's permanently at my mother's house. She's in a care home now. She I don't think will be returning to the house to live there, so at some point we'll probably move up there. We can really only fit two on the drive, and one of them just tends to live either across the other two or on another road somewhere else nearby. And it's a bit sort of inconvenient having this many. I don't need this many cars really, but if you're going to have someone going away for a month or so, and sometimes the Rover or all the Volvo are the ones that go away for a month or so to have some work done, then you kind of do need to sort of be able to have storage and be able to keep them in places. One of the things that I'm thinking of having done once we have moved to our mother's house, if and when that happens, is to actually rejig the driveway, which she has, so it's more convenient for parking more cars on it, and it's got a very soft gravel drive, which means that you can sometimes sink into it, which is quite bad. So we're going to have to sort that out, I think, if we're going to have all the cars parked there. It's also possible that we might actually be able to bring the garage that she has back into use, although the angle of it is so unbelievably awkward, you can't really get anything in there at all, unless it's a Morris Minor or a Mini. When the house was built in 1970, Morris Minors and Minis were absolutely everywhere, which of course the classic Minis and Morris Minors are, well, they're not really, unless you go to a lot of shows. So it's not very convenient for putting anything in, even like sort of smaller stuff like the 460 or this. But I just find as well in my mind, I can't keep up with any more than we got. I just find my brain has no more capacity for vehicle ownership than these. My lady wife's, I think, happy about that, as many of you gents will know if you have lady friends, lady fiancés or lady wives, they don't really want slightly knackered old stuff turning up on the driveway, if you even have a driveway. I know many of you viewers don't even have driveways. You don't even sometimes have allocated parking spaces. You don't have garages. And so actually the idea of multiple vehicle ownership, it's not really even possible for you. I know some people as well who watch the channel who don't even have cars at all. You don't even have cars, which is great. I'm very happy that you would watch a channel that it's a car focused channel, and yeah, you don't actually own a car, which is very nice. I'm very happy that appeals to a broader audience than I would imagine. I went down this morning to get the air conditioning done. As I've said, it's now working really nicely, and I'm looking forward to using it at shows and things, which would be a bit more pleasant. And the chap who actually owned the place he's got several cars. Unfortunately, what sort of happened was he went away and had somebody look after his car. It's got keyless entry, and somebody obviously identified it on the driveway where it was. A friend of his was looking after it, and they jammed the signal, and the next thing you knew, the car had been stolen off a driveway and ended up in another part of the country in parts. Now, insurance company have paid out for the car, but it's just sort of unbelievable. It's one of these things, and it sort of makes me think as well, and this is something I'm sure a lot of you identify with. I don't necessarily want a car that's too attractive to sort of thieves in a way. I don't want something that's going to be stand out and be really flashy or anything like that. I'd rather have something that's a lot more sort of mundane and not so attractive to thieves. There are thieves for anything, and unfortunately I've seen things like M13 Nissan Sunnies and Maestros get stolen, which is sad. It's very, very sad. Sometimes you go to the shows and fairly ordinary cars are now worth an absolute heap of money. Look at Mark 1 and Mark 2 Escorts, and so you have to take particular security measures and those sort of things, so that's sad. But something like the Ford Mustang this gentleman had seems to be that actually they get sort of targeted and broken for spares, and so it sort of makes me think, well, I think we're very happy with what we've got. I mean, two of the cars we have are relatively low in value. The Volvo and the Rover aren't worth a lot of money at all. The Sanyong isn't particularly the type of car in any way that most people don't even know what they are. Mercedes is the one that needs to be kept an eye on, really, I think, because it's got the keyless entry, which you know, I've heard there's issues with it. So far, it's been all right and everything, but I just can't believe that Ford and Mercedes, and also I think the same with Range Rovers, they haven't got a more secure system for dealing with that kind of thing. I think it's really bad, actually. But anyway, I think that's enough about this. Let me know in the comments section below, you know, how many is too many, and can you keep track of all these? And you know, are you concerned that somebody's going to just whisk your pride and joy off a driveway? Obviously, that's, you know, the thing which, you know, all of us dread, all of us who own cars. And thank you ever so much indeed for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video in the comment below, and we shall see you again soon for more surprisingly thoughtful music.